Nigeria has one of the best cycling velodromes in the whole world, but the athletes themselves don't have permission to use it because the sports ministry turned the velodrome into a praise and worship center and they were renting it out for 650,000 naira a day. She had borrowed a bike from the German team to compete in the Olympics. This is not even the first time this has happened. So the 2024 Olympics are over and Nigeria won 0 medals, the first time we've done that since the London Olympics in 2012. And I think this is very disappointing when you consider that on a whole, Africa did very well in Paris. I mean, we had Leslie Tebogo from Botswana, the first ever African to win gold in the 200-meter sprint. We had Zambia getting their first Olympic medal in 28 years, winning bronze in the 400 meters. We had Kenyan runner Faith Kipyegon, who became the first woman to win 3 consecutive Olympic 1500-meter gold medals. We had South Africa amazingly winning silver in the 4x100 relay. I know Nigeria and South Africa are not in the best terms right now, but I really appreciated this win from South Africa, especially their anchor runner Akani Simbine, who I followed his career for a while and he really fought from behind to bring this silver to South Africa, his first ever medal in the Olympics, and I really congratulate him. That was an amazing run. And Africa did well in other disciplines too, but I am a very big fan of track events. That's why I'm focusing on track. But unfortunately, our Nigerian medal hopefuls didn't do so well, and it's very disappointing, especially when you consider that Nigerian-born athletes did very well representing other countries. I mean, Nigeria used to be a standout in the Olympic Games. I mean, the Olympics still uses our Atlanta 96 performance for PR till today. We've also won multiple medals in boxing. So with all this rich history, how come we won 0 medals in Paris? So in this video, I'm doing a deep dive to find out why. And if you stick around to the end, you'll find out all about the state of athletics in Nigeria. Hi guys, it's Obi King once again in the house. So why did Nigeria not win any Olympic medals in Paris 2024? Well, the simple answer is corruption, incompetence by the administration, so much incompetence. In fact, the performance was so bad that after the Olympics, the Nigerian sports minister apologized to Nigeria for the poor performance. "We owe Nigerians an explanation," he said, without giving an explanation. "We deserve more," he said. But funny enough, he praised the president for ensuring that funds were not a limiting factor. So basically, he said money was not a problem for the Olympics. And I looked into these monies and found out that over 12 billion naira was budgeted for Nigeria for the 2024 Olympics. That means 9 billion naira was budgeted for the Olympics and 3 billion for the Paralympics. The minister also said the House of Representatives pledged an additional 100 million naira for Team Nigeria at the Olympics. Now, I want you to keep all this money in mind for the rest of the video because some of these findings are going to shock you. Now, one of the most shocking stories out of this Olympics was the story of the Nigerian cyclist Ese Ukweseraye, who finished last in the qualifying round of cycling, but she was so happy with her results. In fact, in her own words, she said that she was so surprised by her finishing time that she felt as happy as if she had won the race. So why was this Olympic athlete so happy that she came last in qualifying? Well, it was because it was a miracle that she even got to compete at all. It turns out she had borrowed a bike from the German team to compete in the Olympics. When Ese was interviewed by cyclingnews.com, she praised this bike. "The bike was fantastic," she said. "There are times when they give you a new bike to race and you will find it difficult because you have not been training with it and you're not used to it. But for me, when they gave me the bike, the first day I used the bike, it was like I had been using it. I was very comfortable on it." And the sad part about this is that this is not even the first time this has happened. At the UCI Track Cycling Championships in 2022, 2 German Olympic champions by name of Franzi Braus and Mike Kruger used their personal money to buy handlebars for the Nigerian team's bikes. And the explanation for why these German riders did this is even more embarrassing for Nigeria. We saw last year at the World Championships in Roubaix for the first time that they were riding with mass start handlebars, and in Glasgow at the Nations Cup again. That's when we thought we have to do something about that. I just think it's funny that the German team could see the problems and even try to solve the problem, and not Nigerian ministries. And that's just the beginning of the embarrassment in this cycling matter. There is more. Because Ese, the Nigerian cyclist we are talking about, blew the whistle that Nigeria has one of the best cycling velodromes in the whole world, but the athletes themselves don't have permission to use it because the sports ministry turned the velodrome into a praise and worship center and they were renting it out for 650,000 naira a day. SA said, and I quote, "Sometimes we have competition and want to train in the velodrome, but there is a party there and they say we cannot use it, so we take our bikes and we go home." She said that sometimes for the parties, the users would nail banners into the wooden track surface, an absolute sacrilege in track cycling. We have accidents because there are nails. You have a puncture and you crash because they nailed the track. So to recap, imagine you have a passion for cycling and you followed your passion so much that you made it to the Olympics, but the sports ministry can't even provide you a bike to even go to the Olympics, and you can't even train for the event because the track that you're supposed to train on is being rented out for parties and praise and worship by churches. How are you expected to win anything? What is all the money being used for? Another one of the saddest outcomes of the 2024 Olympics was our very bad showing in athletics, and Nigeria usually has a good history in athletics in the Olympics, but the 2024 Olympics was a different story. Our biggest medal hopeful in this event was Tobi Amusan, the world record holder in the 110-meter hurdles, but unfortunately she did not even make the finals in Paris 2024, which made me cry again. We only had 2 finalists in the track events this year. Samuel Ogazi reached the final of the men's 400 meters, but he ended up coming 7th. Much respect to him. And Favour Ofili, who reached the final of the 200 meter sprint, she came 6th and she cried like me. But her reason was even much more painful because her specialty is the 100-meter sprint, and for some reason the Nigerian administrators did not register her for that event. And you would think that the Nigerian officials would show some remorse for what they did, but no. Instead, the Athletics Federation of Nigeria came out with a statement that they are not concerned if she decides to leave Nigeria to compete for another country, and they said that she is free to leave when she wants. World Athletics rules state that for an athlete to be eligible to compete for another country, he or she must stay away from any athletics competition for a period of 3 years. It means Ofili will not compete in any athletics events between now and late 2027. This just shows you the demons that are running Nigerian sports. And this is not even the first time that Favour Ofili is being let down by the Nigerian administration in an Olympics event. At the Tokyo Olympics in 2020, she was also one of 10 Nigerian athletes who weren't even able to compete because Nigerian Olympics officials failed to organize doping tests, or the tests they organized did not meet international standards. This was what led to the disqualification of Favour Ofili and other athletes that were scheduled to compete at Tokyo 2020, such as Annette Echikunwoke, who was at the time the African record holder in the women's hammer event. She also got the news of her not competing at the Olympics on her 25th birthday, which she described as the most emotionally exhausting time of her life. She said, "To be clear, the African Federation of Nigeria did not go through the processes to set up proper testing for us athletes." But she will later have her revenge on Nigeria by going on to compete for America in Paris 2024, and not only competing but winning the country's first ever medal in the women's hammer throw, winning silver. Nigerian athletes also protested on the streets of Japan in 2020 because of their disqualification, which would have been embarrassing for any other country but not Nigeria. I also remember that Olympics as being the one where Nigerian Olympic medalist Blessing Okagbare got banned for 10 years for doping. I also remember that Olympics as being the competition where Divine Oduduru was disqualified for a false start in the 100-meter finals. Remember him?
I never expected it.
Another sad reminder of Tokyo 2020 was that Nigerian athletes had only one pair of kits to train with. One of our shot put finalists posted a video on TikTok of him washing his only pair of training kits, which he later deleted. This guy was a 3-time African champion, by the way. The kit thing is funny because as it turned out, Nigeria had signed a contract with Puma in 2019 and had received kits worth $2.7 million for the athletes, but the Nigerian government broke their end contract agreement. The sports minister allegedly said the athletes should not wear them because he's bringing another company to kit them. This was really unfortunate for the Nigerian team because part of the contract was that Puma would supply apparel to all age categories to Nigerian athletics teams for 4 years for no cost. Also, Puma agreed to give gold medalists at the Olympic Games $15,000. Silver medalists were to get $5,000, while a bronze medal would fetch athletes wearing the Puma apparel at the games $3,000. So representing Nigeria at the Olympics just sounds like a nightmare. But I cannot end this video without talking about the performance of the under-23 Nigerian football team at the Rio Olympic Games in 2016. I like to call this performance sponsored by Mikel Obi. So Mikel Obi is a talented Nigerian footballer who had a very rich career with Chelsea Football Club of England, and it turns out he actually paid the flight fees for the under-23 Nigerian football team, and that's how they were able to get to Brazil for the Olympics. And they arrived just a few hours to their first match against Japan and somehow managed to beat them 5-4. In Mikel's words, there was no plane to take us to Brazil because there was infighting behind the scene of who was going to pick up the tab. The FA didn't want to pick up the tab. The government, I think, released the money, but the FA or whoever the money got into his hands refused to release the money. So waited at the airport from morning till night, but there was no flight. I had to pay for that flight to take us to Brazil, and these are little things. Mikel is still saying they are little things. Like, what is little about this? You almost missed your flight. Imagine how embarrassing this would have been for Nigeria, saying that they could not compete in the first match of the Olympics because they missed their flight. And not just that, they would have missed their flights because the Nigerian Federation did not want to pay for it. Like, they wanted to eat the money, they wanted to steal the money. But Nigeria still somehow won bronze at this event. And in fact, a Japanese doctor who watched the Nigerian team was so impressed by the performance that he gifted the team $390,000. He said, "I read about the financial problems affecting the team and I felt the need to make a big contribution." Yet another case of another country deciding to do charity for the Nigerian team out of pity. Nigerian sports is really just a sea of embarrassment at this point, and it has become very apparent in 2024. Nigeria has a plethora of talents in the country. We have passionate athletes, we have talented people that could go ahead and win medals in almost every event in the Olympics. It's just that we do not have the structure, we do not have the administration that cares, that can actually get these athletes the support they deserve to compete at these events. It's really so unfortunate. A solution for me, I think, would be getting these former athletes to actually run the administration, like run the affairs of the sports ministries, because they've been there and they know where the lapses are. I mean, see a situation where Mikel is paying for the flight of the team. Like, he knows what the problems are, and they've been through it before. And I think seeing their fellow athletes' passion, they will not let them down in such a way. But the problem is Nigerian administration does not really care about these athletes, and it's very apparent, I mean, from these stories. So in conclusion to this video, I'm going to say that the Nigerian Federation needs to take athletics seriously, needs to take sports seriously, and take care of the welfare of your athletes. And please stop holding church services at the Nigerian cycling velodrome. But that's just what I think. Let me know what you think about this video. Why do you think that Nigeria won 0 medals at the Paris 2024 Olympics? Thank you so much for watching. Do like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, because it really helps with the algorithm, and I make similar engaging videos on the state of affairs in Nigeria and how we can make them better. From infinity and beyond, my name is Obi King, and I will see you guys in the next one. Seriously, stop holding praise and worship at the velodrome.